Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to your program, Your Accountant on ATN Bangla. As you know that we used to telecast this program on Friday live. From today, it will be on Monday. Because lots of our viewers has emailed us and texted us that Friday is a quite busy day for them, so they cannot actually watch our live program. So we actually listened to them and we moved our program on Monday live. So from now onwards, our program will be on Monday fortnightly, every alternate week, live 8 p.m. and the program will be telecast repeat on Saturday 11 p.m. You can call us in our mobile number, in our phone number 0203 397 4740. You can text us in our mobile number 0791 251 0328. You can email us youraccountant@atnbanglauk.tv. We have our regular guest, Mr. Ojit Shaha, FCCA, with us. Mr. Ojit is an experienced accountant serving our community since 2007. So, Mr. Ojit, how are you today?
I'm fine, Dubey.
Okay. So, Mr. Ojit, as we have discussed earlier, lots of related accounting issues. So we'll discuss something different today. I'll talk about it later on. If you wanted to say something to our viewers in the beginning, you can say now, please.
Thank you, Dubey. Good evening to everybody, all our viewers. Welcome back. Actually, last two episodes was recorded and we are back to live again today. You know, our program called Your Accountant, the aim and objective is very clear. We wish to help our community businessmen on their business and finance issues. If you have any technical problem, and do let us know. Keep watching us and we will try to answer you to solve your problems. Our aim and objectives to assist you to run your business. And so far in our programs, actually we discussed on various business issues, starting from business startup, as you know, then VAT, payroll, then other taxes issues, self-assessment, limited company, filing deadlines. Whoever does any type of business, it could be from self-employment to partnership to limited company. You could be running a restaurant, you could be running a grocery shops, or you are an IT consultant, a project manager, or you are a serving nurse doing some part-time work. Everybody, mostly, they need a support from a professional people, accountant, I likely to mention. Any of you having this kind of field, please do watch our program, like us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook. I'm definitely sure that will be worth it to watch it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ojit. During this period, we have received lots of email, but I would like to discuss one email particularly today, because which is very related with our discussion, which is buy to let today, and we have another guest. I'll introduce him soon, but I want to discuss that email first with you. The email is that the viewer want to know about the changes coming regards to buy to let property mortgage interest relief, which is more likely to come from 2017 April. So if you wanted to discuss something about it first.
Thank you, David Bhai. And whoever done that email, basically it's a current issue now. Like people are thinking a lot more about these changes in mortgage interest, because we know in our community, I mean, like other communities, have a lot of investment in their properties. They're doing a lot of buy to let and they are keep doing it. Now, just to, there's a government policy, we have no comments on it, but government is telling that your mortgage interest will not have any relief, I mean, at some point, probably in 2020, but from next year, I mean April 2017, you will start losing some part of your relief. দর্শক কিন্তু আপনারা জানেন যে আমাদের মধ্যে যারা বাই টু লেটে ইনভেস্ট করছেন, অনেকেই করছেন, অনেকের 4-5টা প্রপার্টি আছে। আপনারা জানেন যে মর্গেজের ইন্টারেস্ট আর কিন্তু সম্পূর্ণভাবে রিলিফ পাচ্ছে না। এটার মানে হলো আপনাদেরকে ইউ হ্যাভ টু পে মোর ট্যাক্স। সো 2017 এপ্রিল থেকে বেসিকলি only 75% of your mortgage interest will be allowed for tax purpose. Then on next year it will be 50%, then 25%, then it will become zero.
By 2020.
By 2020. So by 2020 there will be no relief for your mortgage interest, which simply means you are having higher profit and you have to pay higher tax. But the good news is there are a few petitions going on, and we hope that it will be discussed in House of Parliament, and good news will come. But you never know. There is time. We have to watch. But that's not a very good news for any of us in the community, I believe.
So I would say for our viewers, whoever having lots of buy-to-let property, to think seriously about that tax planning, because somehow you can do some tax planning. We need to see the full picture and the outcome of petition as well. But they need to be aware of that things are not coming as a good news, so they need to be careful in that regards.
Yeah, you rightly said. আমাদেরকে মনে রাখতে হবে যে এখন অ্যাভেলেবল ফান্ড থাকলেই we will invest in buy to let. Things is not that simple. আপনাকে প্রফেশনালি হেল্প নিতে হবে. You can see accountant, you can see mortgage advisor, and one of the reason why we invited one of our mortgage advisor today, because he can put some more lights on it. But you have to be cautious before you make any investment, further investment in property sector. Only time can save, but you have to keep your eyes open.
So generally speaking, if anybody is actually basic rate taxpayer and a higher rate taxpayer, in that scenario, higher rate taxpayer will be actually have to pay more tax if they have buy-to-let property compared to basic rate taxpayer, because there will be a tax credit element with that.
Surely, yeah. There are a few things that can be thought before. Obviously, that basic rate tax band, higher rate tax band, there are a lot of facts that you have to consider before you can make your next move. But as a guideline, because we are doing this program to help you, our community people who are in trade, any sort of trade, we can just advise that before you make your next move, please discuss with your family, friends, or anybody professionals you know nearby about your whole facts, and they can obviously advise you.
Thank you for that. Dear viewers, as buy-to-let is something which is very popular, and recent survey says 1 out of 6 mortgage property is buy-to-let. So we have an independent mortgage advisor with us today. I will introduce him. Mr. Harry, how are you today? Thank you for coming to our program. I have actually some particular questions for you, so where our viewers can actually get help. My first question will be regards to buy-to-let. What are the challenges I will face if I would like to invest in buy-to-let? In generally, what are the challenges that the investors will face?
Main challenges will be your income, how you prove your income, and basically that requires planning, as Ajit was saying. So challenges are mainly for self-employed community, and I understand that in our community there are a lot of self-employed people running businesses. So what you need to do is to get your finances in order. So for instance, if you got a sort of 1 or 2 years or 3 years running of a business, you need to have things like tax assessments, which I say 302s. Plus excuse me, the lenders might ask for full year's accounts for the last 3 years. And if you are actually employed, they would ask for payslips. It's more prevalent now than I think before to prove what you're earning. And not like before, they have actually, now lenders have actually asked to show income of a minimum income for getting a buy-to-let, because in case if you have rental void, if you cannot rent the place for a few months, you should be able to manage. So hence the reason you need to have an income. So there are thresholds. You can have you might have to show a certain amount of earning, and then if you can show that, you're more prepared to get a buy-to-let. Still, it's a good thing to do, invest in properties. I mean, obviously properties are going up, and then obviously the accountants like Ajit and yourself, coming to help the clients to put their finances in order. It's a very important point.
So my understanding, if it's a normal mortgage, not a buy-to-let mortgage, obviously they will be asking for my income because I'm living in the house.
Yes.
So I have to pay the mortgage.
Yes.
So buy-to-let, previously, as I say, used to not that much of income requirement. It looks like you will be getting the rent as long as you pay mortgage from the rent. Things are nice. Yeah. But it's some cautious view now we are having now.
Much cautious view. Yeah, because I mean. The lenders have to look at the risk factor. There could be interest rate rises, and there could be, property value decreasing, like we have seen before. So this is what the lenders are looking at. It's not purely the rent. Rental demand is okay, is high. But at the same time, there could be some patches where you cannot rent the property. Say for instance the tenancy agreement comes to an end. You might not like the tenants you are getting. You might want good tenant, so you might wait for a little while.
There might be a gap.
So you cannot rely on only the rental income these days. So you need to be careful. And then also the key factor which is coming now is that in even rental market, they have stress testing. The lenders will look at, when I say they, I mean lenders, they look at your portfolio. You might have more than 1 or 2 properties. So they look at the overall income and overall liabilities.
We'll take a call, we'll come back here.
Yeah.
Hello caller, Assalamu alaikum. You are live on Your Accountant. We have lost the caller. Okay. Yeah, so you're talking about the rental income you are getting from the property, which might not be a continuous income.
Yes.
You might lose the tenant, or the tenancy agreement has finished.
Yeah.
And then obviously the lenders would like to see that whether there is gap, you can fill it up with your income.
Filled up your income. And also another factor, like I said, the lenders look at the liability, overall liability. How much money is in loans, and you can call it gearing. So how much loan to sort of assets you got. So if you actually have got quite a big loan to assets ratio, loans are higher than your assets and income, then there is that risk that if you cannot rent 2 or 3 properties, you might have 10 properties. I mean, I have clients who have got 20 properties sometimes. So the lenders are very aware what has happened in the past. So they don't want to fall into the same trap again.
Learning from mistake.
Yeah, and it's actually protecting the clients as well, because you need to think about the client's interest.
I would say it's protecting the whole economy. Because if the property gone, then it's got enormous effect on the economy.
It does. It's one of the barometers of economic performance. So it is very important to have the property market healthy. So I think we have to all sort of contribute to that, and I think it's very important. Accountant plays a very important role in this current climate. I mean, previous to this conversation, I was talking to Ajit, and I was telling how important the accountant's role has become. Because end of the day, if the tax planning, as Ajit was talking about, and then also preparing the accounts for clients, it has become paramount now. It used to be not that important pre-recession time. Not anymore. Now, as I was telling Ajit before as well, basically the underwriters of buy-to-lets now, they treat buy-to-lets as, even though it's not regulated at the moment, as a regulated mortgage. They check the affordability of a client. Can this person sustain this investment? So that's where the accountants can advise, how to plan their, investments. That's important.
So thank you for that. I'll come to you soon.
No worries.
So it seems that Mr. Ujit, you have lots of role to play. So if somebody comes for a buy to let, what type of documents they need required from the accounting perspective?
Harry, thank you for joining us today. I think our viewers will be definitely, getting it beneficial. As an accountant, we actually face this kind of situation quite a lot of time. A lot of our clients have a lot of properties, and they come to us saying, okay, how can they prove their income? And most of the time, for accountant reference, bank write to us directly. Then we have to declare that how many years we are serving them, then how much profit they made for last 3 years at least. Sometimes 2 years also do the job, but mostly it's 3 years. Now, one documents they need from HMRC through accounting is SA302, which is basically the summary of all your income and taxes that is on your file as per HMRC. That is a valid document that all mortgage advisor would ask us to give it to them before they start the file. But sometimes what you do to save the time, we can actually download some sort of specific documents from our HMRC account, and we can stamp it and we can give it to mortgage advisor to start the case.
To streamline the process.
Streamline the process.
Yeah.
And accountant when they certify, it becomes legal evidence.
Yes.
So the mortgage broker and the underwriter all depends on these trustee, and they can go ahead with the case, but at some point in the meanwhile, when things are progressing, they can obviously have AC302 from HMRC, which we can request easily.
Yeah.
That is one of the basic documents they need.
Yes.
Secondly, pay slips.
Yes.
Like if, as Harry knows, that if you are employed or you are self-employed as a director on your own company, then you must have or you might have taken some salaries. So you need proper salary slips. So you need proper salary slips, and the exact amount should reflect into your bank account. What I have seen mostly, like directors sometimes are reluctant because that's their own company, as you know, okay, I'm taking 850 salary, okay, I'll take someday. But underwriter actually takes this seriously.
Very, very. Yeah.
If on your payslip it says 5th of December you should have taken the salary, and on your statement it's on 10th of December, just for your carelessness, that can cause a trouble. Because more questions done by underwriter, you are basically running more risk. Harry knows better than me, and obviously accountant also have to advise client beforehand, because what the role of accountant is not just doing your books. Okay, at the year end you come with a lot of documents, give it to the accountant, and they will tell you how much tax to pay. Those days have been gone.
Yes.
Now actually you come to accountant before you do anything. That what's your business plan?
It's a more proactive nature.
What's your cash flow can be? What's your forecast? Remember, accountant deals with lot of clients of any trade that you're gonna start.
Yes.
So if you talk to an accountant, he can tell you some tips that you will learn after 2 years.
Yeah.
So rather go to an accountant before, or having these 12 months passed out, and then you go into them. Then they have very little to do.
Yeah.
So for mortgage thingy, like buy to let, as you said, it's a very very lucrative investment sector so far.
Yes.
Because property prices gone up 10 to 15% per year on some places. So people has taken this sector as a lucrative investment sector. Obviously, accountant has a great role in here. But all thing I can do your maths correct, do the planning correct, have your documentation correct, then mortgage advisors can help you better in association with accountants.
So can I sum up that our client has to behave proactively rather than reactively? When the time has gone and come to us, actually the patient has died, isn't it? So we're like a doctor.
The doctor has to come.
So you have to be proactive.
Yes.
We have to go for a break now. So when we come from break, we'll discuss more about buy to let and other stuff. Dear viewers, thank you be with us, and then we'll come after the break and we discuss about buy to let and other issues. Stay with us, please. Dear viewers, welcome back to our program Your Accountant again after the commercial break. As you know, you can call us on 0203 397 4740 or text us your questions 0791 251 0328. So, Mr. Ojit, we're discussing about buy to let, but I would like to come to another issues quickly and then come back to buy to let soon. Obviously, 31st January has gone, so lots of people out there still miss the deadline. Some of them may have to do amendment of their return. Some of them might not have enough money to pay the liability, tax liability. What are you going to suggest to them?
Thank you, viewers. Keep watching us. As we know, 31st January has just gone, and that was the deadline to pay and submit your personal tax return for year ending 2014 and 15. Now, whoever done it, congratulations, you are on time. But there must be some people out there who didn't manage to do their tax return. Sorry to say, £100 penalty by default is in your account. Now, there might be some scenario which can get this penalty removed, but that's actually different fact to fact. Now, আপনারা যারা ট্যাক্স রিটার্ন করতে পারেননি 31st জানুয়ারির মধ্যে, তাদের জন্য আমাদের অ্যাডভাইস হলো যে আপনারা জানেন যে আপনার আউটস্ট্যান্ডিং ট্যাক্স লায়াবিলিটির উপরে now it will start incurring some interest until you clear the balance, firstly. Secondly, there is £100 penalty because you missed 31st January. And thirdly, you now have 3 more months to do your tax return. Otherwise, you will incur further penalty. Now, what are these further penalty? After April, you will have £10 per day penalty, and it can go up to 1600 for the whole tax year. So, আপনারা যারা কোনো কারণে বিশেষ কারণে ট্যাক্স রিটার্ন করতে পারেননি, প্লিজ আপনারা অ্যাক্ট প্রম্পটলি অ্যান্ড ট্রাই টু সর্ট আউট ইউর ট্যাক্স রিটার্ন, যাতে আপনাদের ফার্দার পেনাল্টি না হয়। মনে রাখবেন, আপনার ট্যাক্স লায়াবিলিটির উপর কিন্তু ইন্টারেস্ট অ্যাক্রু হচ্ছে পার ডে বেসিস, এবং সেটা থেকে কিন্তু কোনো ধরনের রিলিফ পাওয়া যাবে না। আর ট্যাক্স রিটার্ন যদি আপনি অ্যামেন্ড করতে চান, হয়তো বা দেখা গেল যে আপনার কোনো একটা P45 কিংবা P60 ইনকাম আপনি ট্যাক্স রিটার্নে দিতে ভুলে গিয়েছিলেন, HMRC, if you can rectify them before HMRC comes back to you, there is no more penalty. কিন্তু আপনি যদি দেরি করেন and HMRC find it out and they come back to you with explanation, তাহলে you have to pay some more penalty which can be between 10% to 30%, and they call it carelessness penalty. So new things are coming. All my viewers, please do your tax return on time. If you have missed it, there is a good time now. Please sort this out for your own benefit.
So when you are talking about that 10% to 20%, is it depend on the unpaid liability?
Yes, it depends on your unpaid liability, and what they see that when they raise the question, have you taken due care? Have you taken all possible measures not to be delayed? Why haven't you disclosed that? Was that intentional or was that situational? So all these factors actually contributes to determine the ratio, whether it's gonna be 10%, 20% or whatsoever, but it can go up to 30%.
So there is another problem with most of the self-employed client, because they earn their amount without any paying tax, not like payslip pay, and they not necessarily save the money for the tax liability. And I've seen it actually. They're getting their income on a regular basis, they're spending it. But obviously, at the end of the 31st January, when they see the tax bill is £2,000, which is not that much. If you work for a person, if you get a salary of £20,000, you're paying actually £2,000 tax, to be honest. But for them, that £2,000 become a big issue. They're looking for whether there's an option to pay it installment or whatever. Is there anything they can do?
Yes, you can obviously pay your tax bill in installment, but as per HMRC, if you need more time to pay the taxes, they advise you to do the tax return by 31st December. Rather, you wait till 31st January. Because when you do 31st December, then they have a bit of time to have an interaction with you and put a payment plan on account. But if you just do everything on last moment, let's say you have done your tax return 31st January, and now you're demanding, no, I don't have money, I'll pay you installment, then the whole thing gets complicated. If you need more time, realistically, you should have done tax return 1 month before. But nevertheless, you can ask for time, and HMRC actually does give you time. you might need to try 2-3 times, because আমরা যা দেখেছি from our experience, প্রথম call they might not agree, second call they might not agree, third call they might agree. So keep trying.
So they might have to see the desperateness of the
Yes.
client as well.
At the end of the day, everybody wish to get their bill sorted.
Okay, thank you for that. One more question on that. The record when we send the self-assessment tax return, how many years we have to keep that record?
For self-assessment tax return records, if you have done your records or your return on time, তাহলে simply you have to keep for 22 months. But if you haven't done your tax return on time, you delayed, then you have to keep your records at least for 15 months. So remember, আপনি যদি আপনার রেকর্ডটা ট্যাক্স রিটার্নটা সময় মতো করে থাকেন, আপনাকে 22 মান্থস পর্যন্ত ইউ হ্যাভ টু কিপ ইউর রেকর্ড। কিন্তু আপনি যদি ডিলে করে থাকেন, দেন 15 মান্থস ইউ মাস্ট কিপ ইউর রেকর্ড। অ্যান্ড আরেকটু বলে নিই, এই রেকর্ডস কিন্তু বিভিন্নভাবে রাখা যেতে পারে। ইউ ক্যান কিপ অ্যাজ এ সফট কপি, সেভড ইন ইউর কম্পিউটার or saved in cloud, but any form of document there has to be. Now প্রসঙ্গক্রমে আরেকটা জিনিস বলে নিচ্ছি যে HMRC কিন্তু আপনার ওয়ে অফ কিপিং রেকর্ডসও দেখতে পারে। এখন আপনি যদি আপনার ডকুমেন্টসগুলোকে ঠিক মতো মেনটেন না করেন, then they can also charge you some money. So we have to be careful that not only keeping the books here and there, it has to be in line with the current guideline.
Okay, thank you for that. I think our community businessmen or all of the people need to actually educate in regards to the how to keep the documents tidy, to be honest. That's my experience. Most of them, doesn't find their documents properly. And then that incur lots of time delays, penalty and all
Yes.
these stuffs. Okay, I think we do a half segment of our program on how to do the documents properly, to be honest.
Surely.
Okay, I have a question for Harry now. During the break time, Harry, I got a nice question for you, and I'm also interested in that question to some extent. I have already a 3-bedroom house, so the viewer sent a question, and the viewer has got the mortgage in 2010. Now he would like to get some money out of that mortgage
Okay.
and invest in buy to let.
Yes.
He's thinking, can he do that? And if he can do that, how do you do that?
Okay. Thanks for the question, viewers. It's a very interesting question because this is what I actually get asked quite a lot of the time. Because there is still lot of interest in buy-to-lets. Because if you look at the property market, if you look at say last 30 to 50 years, there are ups and downs, but generally it's up. So if you really think about it, it's still a good investment. So if you have got an asset and it has gone up in value, so you call it loan to value ratio. So if you got a property when you bought it, it was worth a certain amount, 200,000, and you got a mortgage of say 150,000 pounds, for an example. Now that your property is worth 250 or 300,000 at the moment, so that gives you that benefit of releasing the equity, we call it, from the house. So when you release that equity, you can actually invest that in a buy-to-let. So by investing that money, you're having another asset. So if you got that money in that house, you can raise up to a 75% of the value of the property. So once you release that extra money on top of your current mortgage, that's a surplus. So that surplus can be invested in a buy-to-let. So that's the concept of that actually, to release the money from your current home. Some people might have one, some people might have two. Now I've actually experienced recently property hotspots where, for example, Walthamstow or say London, basically the property values have gone up. So you can release that equity and invest in buy-to-lets and get the advice from accountants like Ajit, how to plan the tax, like which this new tax law, which I wouldn't go into because I'm not expert on tax, where Ajit comes in. You need to invest wisely. So you have to manage the portfolio. So if you're investing in one property or if you're investing in two properties, you need to manage your finances. So you need to find out the best way to not only plan the investment but plan the tax regime as well. So it's an important role to play as an accountant now, to advise the clients to make sure that their tax is actually planned properly. So I think your role will get more and more important going forward, I think, Ajit.
Complex.
Yeah, it's more complex the tax regime becomes, more
busier
questions you will
accountants are,
have.
yeah.
Questions will have, and it's an important time at the moment for investing in properties. I think it will continue. It will continue. People will invest in properties because that's what the experts say, because if you get best returns from properties.
So Mr. Harry hints something about portfolio you have to manage. Now obviously how things looks like, if petition doesn't work, then the income from the rental property will go down because you are making more profit from the HMRC point of view and you have to pay more tax. So he's trying to hint that go for some property maybe having better capital gain.
Yes, I mean, I was just trying to say that Harry also mentioned that even whatever happened, people will go for property. And one of the reason behind it, because there is a chance of huge capital gain. Because somebody bought a property for 300,000 in 3 years back, and now it's worth 450. So where on earth you will get this much money from any other sectors? So Harry rightly said that property market will be lucrative for many investors for many reasons. But our point of view, because we are running a program, Your Accountant, as I said, is a good thing to decide where you will invest, but do your maths correct. Judge your situation, evaluate your situation, যে আপনি কি basic rate taxpayer or higher rate taxpayer or additional rate taxpayer. Is there anywhere else you could invest without paying any tax? You could probably invest in ISA, you could probably invest in pension funds, you could invest in some seed funding. So there could be some different arena where you can make your portfolio. Not like only investing in a property or only in ISA. You can have your portfolio correct. And from that aim and objective, our program will bring some financial advisor in future who can give you good planning for your IST, your future taxes, your pension pot, which fund is good. So that's actually all covering our aim. We are accountant, but we closely work with mortgage advisor, closely work with financial advisors, sometimes closely work with solicitors. So all actually work together and try to serve the community in a right manner. এবং এইভাবেই কিন্তু আমরা আসলে কমিউনিটি থেকে কিছুটা হলেও কন্ট্রিবিউট করতে পারি। That's all I meant.
Thank you, Mr. Ojit, for that. Obviously, buy-to-let will be getting very complex to make money out of it in the future if things goes like as suggested. However, as you suggested, we can actually make a different portfolio. Again, diversification. You don't keep all the eggs in the same basket, to be honest. So that's what you are suggesting, which is quite good. Now, the next things I would ask you regards to buy-to-let property again, that is accountant area. If I have buy-to-let property and say I have 5-6 buy-to-let property, what type of expenses are allowable to claim?
Right, thank you, David bhai. আপনাদের মধ্যে যাদের buy-to-let property আছে, আপনারা এই যাবৎকালীন, I mean up to next year, obviously any interest you paid for your mortgage, like finance cost, এটা আপনারা খরচ হিসেবে বাদ দিতে পারেন। এছাড়াও আছে agent fees, এছাড়াও থাকতে পারে any repair works you done, any wear and tear allowance on your furnitures, then there could be any legal cost, there could be any kind of searches fees. So any kind of fees you spend to gain that money out of that buy-to-let property will be well covered. So আপনার mortgage interest, আপনার finance cost, legal cost, আপনার wear and tear on furnitures, any fees you paid to any survey, সো দিস কাইন্ড অফ অল কস্ট আপনারা কিন্তু আপনাদের প্রপার্টি ইনকাম থেকে বাদ দিতে পারেন এবং তারপরে যেটা থাকবে সেই প্রফিটটুকুই হবে অনলি ট্যাক্সেবল।
Okay, thank you for that. Now, I would like to discuss something about some updated from April 2016. There will be some changes regards to loss of tax areas. One of the change will come, which obviously loss of will suffer, or some people will get benefit anyway. So, as a businessman, you need to be careful. If somebody is working and their age is more than 25, now you have to give them a living wage of £7 20 pence, which is minimum wage 670. So 50 pence more per hour if somebody is more than 25 years old.
Yes.
And this is going to be by legal you have to do that from April 2016. And then also it will reach £9 by 2020. So 25% increase overall 4 years time. So how that going to affect as a cost wise for our businesses?
আপনারা জানেন যে লিভিং ওয়েজ ইন লন্ডন অর প্রবলি নেশন ওয়াইড ইজ ইনক্রিজিং। Now, what is happening obviously is good for people in general or for staff. But আপনি যখন একটা business run করছেন, when you are running a business, this extra 50p per hour per employees can be a big burden for you. Now, we know as a businessman that to make money is not easy, as you know, because if you are a businessman, so you have to be prepared for it. এখন আপনি কিভাবে এই সমস্যাটাকে ট্যাকেল করতে পারেন? এমনও হতে পারে যে the job you have managed by spending 30 staff hours before, you probably have to cut the hours.
Restructuring, yeah.
You could save 2 hours a week to save you that 50p extra. So there could be some planning issues. Some staff might be doing some extra hours, and you can have some less expensive stuff, like sometime staff below 19 age, they have a different rate. So you can also see যে আপনার কোন জবটা কোন ধরনের স্টাফ দিয়ে করা সম্ভব, সেভাবে কিন্তু আপনি আপনার পোর্টফোলিওকে ঠিক রাখতে পারেন। One good news is, employers NI actually that's increasing. Like now is £2,000 for small employees.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 3,000. So government is also trying to help small employers, but that help is not enough. If you are an employer, if you are a businessman running with staff, please careful and see the areas where you can save money. Probably এমন কিছু কাজ আছে আপনার অর্গানাইজেশনে যেটার জন্য people under 19 is fair enough. Probably your customer service, probably your receiving telephone calls. So those staff you can recruit accordingly to keep your staff cost low. Because in a business, success will come if you can keep your running costs low. If you go out of the budget, then there is nobody to help you out.
Another point I would just like to add with that, the productivity of the staff. Our businesses need to think about seriously. Like maybe train them that they are more productive. They can do things quickly, for example, or more efficiently, less fault. Because as government will pass a bill and increase the per hourly rate, but we have to see our cost as well. At the moment, our cost will increase by maybe 10% or whatever. But if you have to see the productivity wise, if you can increase the productivity, that compensates that problem.
Yeah, that is another arena. Sometime when the businessmen run a business, they don't like to spend on training. But obviously wise people or wise businessmen will always spend on training.
Yeah.
Because this is an investment to reduce your hours of work that could be needed. Now if you train a staff where he is spending 9 hours, probably he will spend only 7 hours.
Yeah.
So by training them, by giving them extra bit of support, you can actually reduce your staff cost. And obviously I would say a monthly review is not possible, but do the review every 6 months. Sit down with your staff, see where they can improve, then you will see a lot more difference.
Thank you for that. I think our businessmen run the business, they need to concentrate on those issues as well. Because it's not only about coming to an accountant with their invoices and prepare the accounts. We would like to help our businesses, that business runs successfully, and we see that businesses are making more profit and pay more tax. That's fine, because at the end of the day, you are getting better as well. One more thing I just want you to share with before we finish our program today. that corporation tax is gonna be less from 20% to 19% in 2017, and then 18% by 2020. And then there is annual investment allowance for capital allowances, which used to be 25,000 before. Now they put 250, 500. Now they permanently giving 200,000 annual allowances for investment in the business. What do you think? The government is trying to push businesses to invest more?
Actually, what really happens, government wish to have more investment in equipments. Let's say, where this coming from? If you invest in computers, then somebody will work on these computers. If you invest in a sewing machine, somebody will work on the sewing machine. So those investment in machineries will actually boost up the economy. That's why they are trying to give you some subsidy or some tax-free regime, so that you are interested to invest on there. Obviously, that's a good news. And secondly, you said corporation tax rate is gonna be down by 1%, which is another good news. But my viewers, you know that যারা আমাদের program দেখছিলাম আগে, যে corporation tax কমলেও আপনার dividend, they are putting a tax on dividend, so that is another gray area and frustrating area for most of the limited company director, that from next year over £5,000 dividend is taxable, which used to be never. And that's a different thing, because you're paying 1% less in corporation tax. On the other hand, over £5,000 dividend is attracting 7% tax.
7.5%, yeah.
7.5% tax. So businessmen, be prepared for more tougher time. So you have to plan, you have to think where you can cut the cost. Meet the professionals, speak to them. They are your good business advisors, as you know, accountant, mortgage advisor, financial consultant, or our business advisors. They can advise you, share their knowledge, share their experience.
So thank you, Mr. Ojit. I would like to thank Mr. Harry to come and share your experience.
Thank you very
with our
much.
viewers. And then quickly, half a minute, if you can say something to our viewers before we finish.
Thank you, viewers. We have received a lot of text and emails from you. A lot of people visited our YouTube link. Please visit, right on YouTube, Your Accountant, then ATN Bangla UK. You can see our previous programs. Our only aim and objective to educate you, so that you can run your business efficiently, so that you can tackle any financial problems. Any queries you have, do not hesitate to email us, text us, or call us. We'll be there to support you. Thanks, and keep watching.
Thank you, dear viewers, for watching our program, and we hope you will be watching in future as well. As Mr. Udit say, you can always watch our videos in YouTube and Facebook page. Thank you, and we see you guys in 2 weeks' time. Allah Hafiz.